What's your name?
Gage. Gage.
Gage. Which subject do you present on?
Pasha number.
Avaya. The conference is now starting. You are the first person to arrive. You will now be placed into the conference. The conference is now being recorded.
Yeah.
Take it easy.
It's a very nice drawing you got on the board.
It's not mine.
Claim it as your own. We're not gonna know.
Huh?
We're not gonna know. Okay, we know now.
Well, if it would be mine, you would see big discrepancy with this high artistic skills and stuff that I'm drawing.
Is there a printer in here?
Yes. It tells that it is in the lobby by the stairs.
Check. Let's look at the pencil.
I think so.
It's in the lobby, you say?
Yep.
Okay. not a question for me. Oh! I have to print this off. And I'm just like, no, I'm in a computer.
So,
324. It's a lot of work. For honest, but it's like unfocused. It's a lot of work. I could work with it in 2 weeks before you guys make assignments. They're pretty easy. That's cool. With the phone, but the problem is when you zoom in, you confuse my phone cameras and my heat. But since it's still there, this is all natural. I wonder if there's a more picture. Oh. No, I don't. Not really. But I just like I want to be able to make it to the second with the map.
it's like bias true.
Yes, yeah, no, that's not the one.
I mean, as to why.
Yeah, so it's there we go.
Or some more
Oh, really? That's cool.
You never have to go on, because I have like 60 people on one every day.
Oh, really?
So basically, I'm
Preserve the island, because it's actually like a historical monument.
What is it?
Okay.
And therefore,
How
2
long
years
is
of
it?
that's for all 8 months before.
But this is the long.
After Star Wars, there's like the forever. But then there's things that's the builder.
This is like exactly what it is. And then
It's
death that satisfies this.
like,
And that's straight up.
I think that's like at least 1,000 feet. What the actual number is. They don't look like it because I'm taking up stuff.
Well, it's
No,
meant to.
well, I'm saying these dogs got my. They were gonna make it. What's on here?
Really?
I read somebody asked me a question about it, but basically from what? Yeah, we also saw some jellyfish, because it's really obvious that's
Yeah, I
what
like
that
the
is.
way you run like, okay,
When I say correct.
So it looks like there was some other parts that look like hollow.
So how your schedules look like for Wednesday afternoon? Do you have any? How do your schedules
Oh, okay.
look for Wednesday afternoon? Do you need to go to another lab or plan some generally through the semester?
Analytical lab is today.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right.
When? When
It's
does
2 to 4:50.
Yeah.
2 to 4:50?
Yep. So everyone in analyticals lab.
Okay, but nothing after.
No.
So starting from, so there will be no one rushing to leave earlier. Most
Unless
of
it's
it.
for a job or something, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, same. Not today.
So it will start slowly but surely. Previous semesters I was postponing this pleasant time until maybe like 3rd week or 4th week, because right now we are in the class material we are not in the position to solve any practical problems, Vasil. But if we like right now we are approaching to the merging point from two directions. In class, we accumulate some background, and here we can start slowly get some minimalistic computational background. So at the time when we need to solve problems, we would not bother ourselves with writing too much equations, but use computers to solve them. So the software that we are going to practice is so-called MATLAB. Did you ever practice it? So what you can do, just log in with your credentials and try to find it just in the...
What's it called? MATLAB. MATLAB? Not with the H, MATLAB.
See, and if you just run it, you'll see window like the one here, and you can try just to export it on your own. So it's very rich software with many functional abilities. We're not going. It's not course in scientific computing. We will need very minimal basic, but you can glance through and find such things which I'm not aware of. This software is used not only for scientific computing, but it is also used for processing data, and often it is used for connection between real experimental instruments and analyzing the accumulated data. So if you are bored to listen to me, you can just try anything you can. For example, you can type demo, and then there will be help button, or there will be several opportunities to try, and you may find some fun stuff. So in addition to solving problems in a very efficient and quick way compared to standard programming tools, it is a very powerful visualization tool. So it just makes nice images, videos, and sounds, and you may find something that you would like. So today our meeting is very informal. When we will meet probably next week, I will prepare a list of formal skills that you need for the course, and we will go through them one by one. So really minimal condensed stuff. And today I can just entertain you with maybe trying some things without much organization. Just for example,
Question.
yes, go ahead.
Is this a specific type of coding, or is this based off of C++?
There is this is an interpreter.
Okay, so it uses its own language.
Right.
Okay.
There is a tool that converts MATLAB scripts into C++. So
Okay.
if you write something precious that you want to run on high performance computer cluster to be more quicker and efficient, you can convert MATLAB script, compile, and then run it really quick.
Okay.
But we are in educational system. We are not like targeting super high performance. Its main goal is to have the easy that we write minimal amount of lines of code or no lines of code at all. So like 1 to 10 lines and that's it. Functions. Oh, please give me some hint if you already if you were dealing with some processing of experimental data or some level of scientific computing. Some programming, if you know the name of the compiler.
I know a little bit,
Okay.
just a little bit. Listen, I know how to make variables, that's about it.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Can you?
Variable equals something. That's about it.
That's great. Can you plot functions? Plot sine x with any computational tool. Well, I know you all can do it with Excel, right?
For the most part.
Okay. Let's do spiral that I was trying to hand draw during the class. So when we deal with calculus and math, the variables are continuous. They can take any value. But if you do things in the memory of computer or on the screen, they are discretized, right? If all images, they are split on grid points, right? And if you want to represent a function, you just need to, if you have x-axis, you need to split onto several grid points. If you want fine, high-resolution TV, you need many dots per inch. If you don't care about resolution, you can have coarse grain. So you can, of course, one can set up variables and values. And then if you type x, you have whatever you set it. And if you set, you can do some simple arithmetic. So you can use MATLAB as a calculator, right? But it is boring. We will go through it in a more formal part, but you can set arrays. And then if you type x, it will understand that it is a set of data. But if you want to make graphs, we need like right now we did assign to array x values from 1 to 7, and here they are. We can connect them by lines, or we can just put them as dots. But if we want some functions, it is too rough. When I'm trying something, please try to do the same. I didn't ask most important question. Were you able to run MATLAB? Is it installed on the desktops where you're sitting? Good. Okay. So, if I do want to set the value of variable, make it like vector or array of data, explicitly typing all values, it's a little boring. I'm not a robot, I cannot do 1,000 times. So I can, instead of telling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, I can just from 1 to 7. And it will be the same, right? So putting column would putting a column would do the same job as mentioning things explicitly. But still, integers are not sufficient. We may want to have the specific step. So I can go from 1 to 10 with step 1, with integer step, but no one prevents me to make step more than 1, to do bigger step, or make it like 0.5. So then it goes by this fractional numbers, right? And if I have this variable with a little bit more denser steps, it is better argument in mathematical sense. I can put it as argument into a function. But let's do this. I know it is a little childish and too simple, but there is no reason to just wait.
Can you change the amount of columns you have?
Huh?
Can you change the amount of columns you have?
You can change the font, or you do want to make not one-dimensional, but two-dimensional.
Well, I can't make it that shape. The T. I want to see the different shapes I can make it under this, because I know if I do X, I could run it. I don't know.
It doesn't allow any.
No, I didn't.
If you go through help, it allows like X for crosses, O for circles, and maybe dots, or dashes. So you need to go through help for things.
Yeah, I did. This is why I didn't go into program.
So this is an image is too pathetic to represent straight line. We need much denser dots. So why don't I type instead of 0.5 0.1? And now they are almost indistinguishable. They form a line. And if we place two arguments in the plot command, you can put x square for quadratic function or whatever function you need, or sine x, then you will see the graph. it's interesting. The MATLAB has crazy syntaxes. If you would forget about period before the power, it will not do things for you. If you want like do polynomial like x squared, x cubed, or 1 over x, you need to do this period and then power. Please try.
So what is the period? Period means to consider each array as a number rather than array.
Okay.
Because later on, very soon, you realize or recognize or practice that
There will be a lot of vectors and matrices, and MATLAB is math is not for math; it's for math. And when you multiply vectors and matrices, there are some rules like all and all. And if you do this period means like avoid rules for matrices and process elements as usual numbers. Otherwise, if you do not put this period, it will process it as they would be vectors or whatever. So we can plot sine, cosine, exponential, and if you put plot 3, number 3 in here, you will be able to plot things in 3 dimensions. So it's basically the shape that we did in class for the propagating wave. So please try to practice.
Give me an error. Try and oh. Give me a different error.
Why does that have to be 3?
Huh?
Why does it have to be a
3, because 3-dimensional. Typically, the
Oh,
plot is for 2-dimensional.
Okay, gotcha. This is pretty long. So.
This is something new. What else can we do? Well, if you ever need plots that you generate with MATLAB for like some lab reports, if you would use it instead of your Excel for labs ever, this gray background may irritate you or whoever will read your products. So there is a way, see there is a little arrow here, edit plot, and then you can click and change figure color to white background, which is a little more visually presentable. And just try to click on different things. You can make bigger fonts, thicker lines, and that stuff to make it more readable for outside users.
I don't know.
Can I only plot one thing at a time?
What?
Can I only plot one thing at a time?
No, you can overlay many images onto one panel. Like that's. I didn't have a specific plan for today, but you give an inspiring question. So you can type hold on to keep the image, and then plot maybe same stuff but with double frequency, and maybe make different color. So then it makes sense.
Yeah, I didn't know there was a hold on, but.
Try to check if you have console or if you change the ground phones.
Well, yeah, I got the other one.
That's not a shake.
I squared it over.
You can try to click this arrow and see.
I don't know. I mean, this is tape. I just literally don't want to shoot you guys.
Range. That's your thing. Did you play this
Color.
town?
Triggering color.
Yes.
Why is it so thick?
Just threw it out there.
What equation is that over there? Tangent and cotangent?
What are you trying to use
Right.
that town?
Let's just trigger this a little bit. Put a couple of those here, so far. It's actually just a bunch of stuff. Let's see how powerful this is. Excellent. Too bad. You guys get that? Really? I don't think I have.
And that's your
Almost.
I checked my kid too. That James Carter, Christian McCaffrey.
I got that right.
And reason.
There are a couple of them around. A couple of them are takers. There we have that there quarterback. Whoa, what?
You have Steam for more things? We're having fun with what we have.
You don't have. It's just that clear. It doesn't look like that person. The thing goes up by, negative power. Let's see, what does it say? It's just, that's all. It's only, that's all it goes. It's still going, it's still crunching. Oh, look at that. I didn't put this one. Didn't put the line on this one. Seven. Seven.
How do you multiply vectors?
You talking dot or cross product?
Huh?
Are you talking dot or cross product?
Any other products?
Maybe. I don't
That's
know.
not out of multivariate calculus and one of the settings.
So the cross product is defined for three-dimensional vectors.
Yeah.
So it's very specific. But there is a dot product is very universal. Scalar product because it gives multi-dimensional vector is just one number. And there is a so-called dyadic product. So, do you have steam? Not tired yet? Not, I don't, not, huh?
Got a little bit left for today.
Okay. So, vectors. Let's, let me write maybe x equals, same as we did before, 1, 2. So, in some sense, we can call that x capital is a vector, right? But on the other hand, I can write y equals 3, 4. So what's the difference between x and y vectors?
One has two rows, one has two columns.
Yeah, but it's they both are one-dimensional vectors, right? So one has structure of like is row vector and another is column vector, right? So what will be the result of multiplication of this of these two vectors, x and y? X equals 1, 2, y equals 3, 4.
Isn't it 11?
How do you get it?
You multiply the columns by the rows, but I can't remember exactly which one goes where.
So you're telling me that 1 times 3 plus 2 times 4?
Yeah.
Let's try. Prove it with MATLAB.
Okay, 1 second. Oh, I still got.
But you can save it at a specific
Okay, that's fine. Okay, so why did you let go?
You put a space in there? Oh, yeah, because otherwise it makes it 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll leave it.
And you know how to save files, right? How to save data, because there should be something like virtual space, because these computers will not hold your information when you walk around. And if you generate something precious, you will save it or send it as an email to user.
So I don't know how to do it on there because I'm in the code part.
You go to-
You're in the command window. Yeah.
Anyone got anything different than
I didn't get mine to go.
so what is it? Which data structure did you go?
What's that?
Yeah.
Which structure of data? Like 11 is a single number. What did you?
I got 3, 6, and then 4, 8, so it's coming up as the.
So he was wrong.
I don't know. I probably did.
I got 11.
Now you need to fight.
You probably right.
Uh,
How do you multiply yours? If you just do y times x?
Oh, if you do. Wait, let me try
If you
something.
decide
That
to
was
fight.
multiplying matrices, I don't know if they multiplying vectors.
Yeah.
Are you doing z times q? I mean, x times y or y times x?
That's a question.
Oh, yeah.
I did z times q, which will give you a scalar.
And if you do opposite?
It gives you a 2 by 2 basis.
Yes. So the second one is called dyadic product.
I have no- So,
I did it. I did y times x.
so
X times y.
And 3, 6, 4,
You
8.
said x.
I did.
Oh, they need to be the same.
I did ones for negatives. Nice. This is the crap. I'm just
They should have the
Um,
same dimension.
I wish you could. I wonder how much I can zoom up. It took a while to run through it.
Oh, yeah, I did 0.001. I did 0.001.
And then went to the negative 7. It worked.
It just looks like that.
That takes a
This
little
is
bit to
computer
process.
software in a small case, if they can't invent properly, I don't know.
Okay. I'm gonna close out of this.
I'm not sure.
So your argument is for 11.
My argument's for 11.
So where did you get? Oh,
I did both.
okay.
Command window down, we type new script. This is command window down.
So it does matter.
So then,
Now let's try to do both. Let me try to do both things without a computer. So if you have your x equals 1, 2, and y equals 3, 4, I'm doing scalar product, x times dot product, which will be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the row by column rule, right? So 1 times 3 plus 2 times 4, right? But if we swap the order, if you do y times x, it will be 3 times 4 times 1, 2, right? Now if you practice the rule row by column, here it was just one row and one column, therefore it will be one number. Here it will be one first row and first column. So it will be matrix. So 3 times 1. Then first row, second column. 3 times 2. Then second row, first column. 4 times 1. Second row, second column. 4 times 3. So it will be 3, 6, 4, 12. Does it go along with what you got?
try, no.
No?
You said 4 times 3 instead of 4 times 2.
Okay,
On the bottom right.
right. 2, 8. Better now?
Yep.
Okay, so it is same objects but in different order, right? So it does matter whether it is whether your vector is row or column, right? So this is dot, and this is called dyadic. So it is a way to generate metrics out of vectors. There is a way to convert. If you, so x is row, but if you type x prime, it will become column. How do you call it in linear algebra?
Yeah.
I can't even do
How do you?
Transpose, right? Transpose, right? If you type y, it is 3, 4. If you type y prime, what should we get?
3, 4.
Yes. Okay? Good. Let me check myself. Y times x. Yes, 3, 6, 4, 8. Good. Well, if it is vectors of a small dimension, like 2, 3, it's fine to represent them by numbers. But if it is long vectors, we plot them as functions, and you already skewed. But how do you plot functions? Plot, visualize matrices. Because like if it is 4 numbers, it's fine to discuss in person. But if it will be matrix of 100 by 100, it's too much to give or watch numbers. So there is I want new figure, and I type bar 3 of whatever my matrix is. So those are 3, 4, 6, 8, right? Just little, how to say, histogram bars popping up. And if you happen to generate matrix of bigger dimension, it is not a problem, and you can visually analyze its properties. Let me walk through and see how you visualize matrices.
Well, AE seven variables. Also.
Just 5 times 6. 8 equals 5 times 6. Oh. No bar 3.
What would be the next step to check or to try if you would have Steam? Probably multiply matrices by vectors or matrices by each other, right? I don't know if you have Steam, and if I have Steam, I kind of giving a heads up what is possible and what would be reasonable for the course. So if you have matrices, you can add them together, subtract, multiply. You can multiply matrices by vectors. But what else can you do with matrices?
Determinant.
Find determinant, right? What else? Three things. Find determinant and two more. Probably, I'm not sure if we need to do more things today, but let me just give you the heads up what one can do with matrices. So, determinant, eigenvalues, and solving linear algebraic equations.
Systems?
Yes, system of linear algebraic equations. Like if you have A x b y equals c, A prime x b prime y equals d, then this system of equation can be written as a matrix of A prime b prime matrix times x y equals c d, right? And these two are known, and this vector is unknown, right? So if it is very few equations, you just write them by adding, subtracting in a natural way. But if there are large number, there is a general way. So if you call this one like A capital, this one X capital, and this one, I don't know, C, your vector equation is matrix times vector C equals X equals C. Then it's another thing I hated in my freshman years when instructors started writing equations like this without explanation and assuming that everyone is so happy and understanding this. Tell me if you want explanations. Yes? You want
Explanations.
So, algebraically, formally, without any, if those are just symbols for us. If we have an object into minus first power, like if you multiply x minus 1 times x, it will be equal to 1. So if you have some unknown symbol of unknown nature, you do power minus 1 times same symbol without this in power 1. It will be 1. So if this unknown symbol is matrix, then upon multiplication matrix into power minus 1 by the matrix without any power, you'll get just so-called unitary matrix. When you have ones on main diagonal and zeros. Huh?
Identity matrix?
Yeah, identity matrix. And this to the power minus 1 is inverse of a matrix, right? Make sense?
Yeah.
So if you multiply a minus first to the a, it's same as if you have nothing. It means you have just your vector x. And in order to be mathematically correct, you need to perform this operation on both sides, left and right. A minus first, on left and right. On the left it cancelled, on the right you have this a minus first multiplied by this free term. And x was an unknown in this algebraic system of equations. Which means if you take this free term multiplied by inverse matrix, you immediately get solution of your system of equations, right?
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, it is determinant, inverse, and eigenvalues. So three things you may want to do with matrices. Determinant is just to check whether it is good or bad matrix. Inverse, because you need to solve linear system of equations sometimes. And eigenvalues, I don't care about other branches of science, but physical chemistry and quanta, you saw today on the lecture, there is a time-independent equation that is basically eigenvalue problem. I didn't plan to go so far. Should we? Okay, let's maybe start practicing some of those.
Type in Lorenz on your command bar.
Let me see how
It's like a function that MATLAB apparently understands.
Oh, it's a strange attractor.
You can also ask it why, it's like random things. You can ask it why.
To satisfy the terrified kid.
Well, I'm very happy that you are so creative. It is when I was doing it several years, just trying to tackle different things. And then it will help you to do things later. So you find some useful. Okay, let me do just a little numerical experiment with our matrix A. So we have A, and we can, let's check if we have, we don't have, okay, this equation doesn't have solution. Okay, so I cheated and selected matrix that can be inverted, and now if I okay, so I do not have steam to go into practical solution of some linear system of equations, but it is the little experiment. If we define a matrix, not arbitrary, well, arbitrary, but not every matrix can be inverted. And then we define the inverted matrix. Then if it does exist, then product of the inverted times original matrix is expected to give the identity. So please practice. Just to check.
I don't know if it'll work if I just do this.
Equals I and B. You will go with this. I will go with that. See, they both go this way, this way, this way.
I found a blank sweeper.
Well, if you went and B is already
I found the blank sweeper. In MATLAB, if you type in XP box, it's Minesweeper.
one is in
Minesweeper.
Okay, I think now you start. You want this course.
Oh, I found a bot.
Good.
Oh. Oh. Oh, forgot.
I think so. I put these and then name person Z. B. So we're looking for? Yep. All right, sweet.
Not every, if the matrix has zero determinant, you do give this infinite. Divide by zero. It's,
You're just like, what?
yeah, I'm not sure if a to the power minus 1 or inverse is more specialized.
I don't know.
Just something almost like
Okay. Damn it. There I go. Oh.
this experiment is successful.
Now it's time to do that.
Okay, well, you can stay here and play, but maybe it's enough of new material. You already had some fun, and you are way ahead of the planned schedule of the course. So let's play as long as you want. I will stay here and answer questions, but next week we'll go in a more organized way and have a set of skills that we will need for the rest of the course. I'll stay here maybe for 15-20 minutes. If you have questions related not only to MATLAB but to the presentations on Friday or to the course material, I would be happy to answer, contribute.
So what are you expecting from these presentations? Just give the class like just like a general outline.
Type in expertise.
I have a like multifold goal. First, I need to develop some assignments that will
I just looked up on
that will give me
MATLAB code, and it's like Easter egg MATLAB code.
fundamental to give you guys good grades at the end.
Okay.
Design some assignments that before, well, like if you solve problems, there is a chance for error. If you do presentations, it's basically everyone gets it.
Yep.
Another thing, right now I do not remember names of anyone.
Okay.
But after you guys present, I will names. The most deep, I don't know if you work out or not, but the things that I'm presenting in class may or may not be logically organized for your eyes.
Okay.
So, but if this posture is a attempt to summarize basics of quantum theory in a very short and organized way, and if you do present it yourself in a team style,
A better understanding.
you'll summarize and organize the information in your head.
Okay. That works.
I cannot avoid solving problems. We will do some, but I don't want to spoil your career and grades and want to balance different things so that even if problem solving will be like so, final grade will not be much damaged.
Okay. That works. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you.
All right, see you later.
See you.